room. Some of these quotes reported by the Daily Mail are brutal. One quote stated, "There has been so much apprehension between the team and her, and everyone is happy that they don't have to deal with her various controversies, whether she brings it on herself or otherwise." The insider said, according to the outlet, there is no love lost. And when Angel returns for a Chicago game with her new team, she will be the enemy. But everyone with the Sky is very, very happy that she is.
Body language reveals truth, and what emerged from the Chicago Sky locker room cuts deep. Yahoo Sports learned from an anonymous insider that the entire organization feels genuine happiness about Angel Reese's departure. Not acceptance or understanding, but actual joy that she's no longer there. Something created tension so severe it produced this reaction.
Now, this goes out to all of the Angel Reese fans, man. Everybody, right? Y'all tried to say that Angel Reese was not the problem. A lot of Angel Reese fans has been having this argument that, you know what, everybody else is the problem. Angel is not the problem at all. People don't like Angel because she get bored.
Angel Reese supporters have dodged this question for months, but the Daily Mail captured what the source actually expressed. Massive apprehension existed between the roster and Angel, stemming from the controversies surrounding her, regardless of whether she generates them intentionally or not. That final distinction carries more weight than most realize.
Other fan bases. Now, since everybody has reacted to it, that's what I told y'all, man. Like with a bunch of these stories, everybody gonna react to them like 10, 12 hours after we drop the video. Now, these are reports starting to come out, man. It says, during an interview with people that are not here for women basketball is not smart. Lexie Hall is getting a lot of backlash from this interview. And we'll play some of it here in a minute. Somebody said he's a good journalist and covers many topics on all types.
Now,
consider the energy difference in how Angel handled the trade news. She immediately posted Atlanta content across social platforms, appeared with a completely new stylist, and publicly celebrated starting over. Back in Chicago, the anonymous insider revealed that when Angel comes back to face the Sky wearing Atlanta's uniform, she'll be treated as the enemy. Standard trade language doesn't sound like that. Personal resentment does, which forces the critical question about what actually transpired privately.
Listen, let's run it back.
I think the most challenging part is there's just so much scrutiny. People have opinions online, and unfortunately that's part of the job and the role that we play. I think people should focus on us as people need to know that everyone's human. We're real people. I think that when things get blown out of proportion, when things get really personal and there's personal attacks on people's character, I think that's where it's over the line.
Have you experienced being on the wrong side of character assassination?
I mean, I'm sure I have. I try not to read comments for that reason.
Before answering that, examining the Lexie Hall situation becomes crucial, because her current treatment demonstrates precisely why these sources remain anonymous. Lexie participated in what should have been a straightforward makeup brand promotional conversation. Instead, the journalist confronted her about Indiana Fever's league standing, fan conduct, and whether games became more aggressive due to Caitlin Clark's presence generating increased attention. Her responses reveal someone selecting each phrase like she's navigating a minefield. Social media magnifies these dynamics considerably, she explains. Competitors want victories. Notice she never confirms whether opposing teams specifically target the Fever differently. She redirects toward general competitive discussion instead, but here's the significant element.
I think everyone does a really good job of not giving the rise in attention any attention. I think we're still showing up the same way that we do every day. But like knowing that there's more eyes on us, knowing that there's more seats in the stands, all of that is exciting, but I don't think it necessarily changes how we go about the game, go about our relationships, go about what we post on social media. I think it adds to the engagement. I think that's really the biggest difference.
How would you characterize the Fever's reputation among supporters and opposing rosters? The reaction Lexie's receiving proves exactly why the Chicago source stayed nameless. A single interview where she attempted diplomacy sparked vicious online response. People are investigating the journalist's complete social media archive, questioning why Lexie accepted the interview opportunity, accusing her of lacking genuine women's basketball interest. And recall that earlier detail about Angel's controversies arriving whether she creates them herself or not. That statement carries dual meaning. Angel generates certain problems independently, yet also receives blame for circumstances beyond her influence. The source acknowledges both truths while maintaining the locker room celebrates her exit. That's not throwaway commentary.
And for shirts, I think like as an opposing team, it's like you want to win even more because it feels like there's just so many people rooting. It's exciting to have that type of follow across the country. And I think like for other teams, they have great fans and great people that show up for them. And they want to perform for those people just as much as we want to perform for ours.
Consider the implications for Chicago's upcoming season. They just moved their top rebounder, a player averaging double-doubles during her rookie campaign, someone generating enormous social media visibility for the franchise, and the internal reaction isn't concern about losing production or acknowledging difficult business necessities. It's relief and happiness. Everyone feels very, very happy she departed. That vocabulary exposes something statistical analysis misses. Because objectively, Angel Reese posted a successful first season. She established rebounding benchmarks. She received all-star consideration. Her merchandise sold impressively. So why would teammates celebrate her leaving?
So that was Lexi Hall in this interview. And just like I told y'all, man, a lot of people feel a type of way about this interview. I don't think Lexi Hall was doing any ill will or any malice towards the fans. I think she was just speaking on her experience, man. And if she feels that way, she's entitled to her opinion. I don't think everybody should be going at her the way that they are. But to each his own, man. Everybody does what they do. Guys, get down in the comment section. Let me know your thoughts about this. Keep them.
Rewatch that initial footage with proper context. The reporter isn't fabricating sensational content. Yahoo Sports and Daily Mail both published the story featuring direct statements from someone organizationally connected. No love lost was the precise terminology, not complicated emotions or bittersweet feelings. No love lost. And here's what most observers are missing about this situation. The source specifically referenced Angel's various controversies plural as an ongoing problem, not a singular incident or misunderstanding. Multiple controversies the team continuously managed. That pattern matters because it indicates this transcended one difficult moment or personality conflict.
Angel is the problem, man. And it's just crazy to me that people will get on their social media platforms and do all of these different things and make it seem like Angel Reese is just such an angel. She's not, man. She's not. She's very toxic, and she really probably need to go seek some counseling.
Compare that to Lexi Hall managing an uncomfortable position during her conversation. She deflected without betraying anyone. She acknowledged heightened attention without condemning supporters. She discussed physicality without accusing particular players or organizations of targeting the fever. That's navigating media pressure without generating locker room complications. The difference is remarkable. One player successfully promotes cosmetics while avoiding loaded questions about fan behavior and league physicality. The other player's former teammates anonymously tell journalists they're delighted she's gone. Professional media management versus whatever happened in Chicago that produced this resentment level. Now examine what the Chicago Sky source didn't mention because that's equally informative. They didn't reference basketball disagreements. They didn't discuss playing time arguments or coaching disputes. They didn't frame this as strategic rebuilding or roster optimization. They immediately addressed apprehension and controversies and happiness about her departure. That's personal relationship collapse, not basketball operations. And consider the timing. This statement emerged days after the trade, after Angel was already celebrating in Atlanta. The source waited until her departure to speak publicly. That suggests people in that locker room felt they couldn't communicate freely during her presence. Whether that stems from her personality, social media activity, fan base intensity, or organizational dynamics remains unknown. But the relief in that statement is unmistakable. Here's what makes this particularly consequential for Angel's career development. She's 23 years old, 2 seasons into professional basketball, and she's already departed her initial team under circumstances where anonymous sources celebrate her exit. Atlanta represents her fresh beginning. But fresh beginnings only succeed if underlying problems get resolved. And based on that source's observation about controversies she brings, whether she creates them herself or not, there's acknowledgement that some of this accompanies her regardless of intention. The Lexi Hall situation demonstrates what happens when players navigate increased media attention carefully. She's receiving backlash for a single interview where she was excessively diplomatic. Now imagine being Angel Reese, whose every social platform post gets dissected, whose every court interaction gets scrutinized, whose supporters and detractors are equally intense. That's draining. And without solid media preparation or emotional management abilities, it will generate friction everywhere you travel. Watch that footage about locker room relief once more. The source stated everyone is happy she departed. Not certain players, not a handful of people. Everyone. That's institutional agreement. That means whatever occurred affected multiple individuals across different positions. And when you have that degree of unified relief about someone's exit, it transcends basketball talent or rebounding statistics. It concerns daily interactions, team chemistry, and workplace atmosphere. The statement that she'll be the enemy when returning to Chicago is especially revealing. That's not competitive banter. That's not athletic spirit. That's personal hostility being directed into future competitions. The source essentially confirms Angel damaged relationships so completely that former teammates anticipate competing against her specifically. That's the motivation type emerging from feeling mistreated or exhausted by someone's presence. And here's the aspect everyone's overlooking in this discussion. Angel Reese maintains one of women's basketball's largest social media audiences. Her supporters are passionate and protective. So when a Chicago Sky source declares they're happy she departed, they're stating it knowing the reaction will be severe. They're stating it regardless. That reveals how intensely they felt about this situation. The risk of fan hostility was worthwhile to communicate this message. Now consider Atlanta's perspective. They just obtained a skilled young player with enormous marketing potential, who also apparently generated sufficient locker room problems that her former team publicly celebrates her departure through anonymous sources. That's a wager. Atlanta is gambling they can utilize her abilities while managing whatever created the Chicago situation. They're gambling the fresh start narrative succeeds. They're gambling Angel absorbed lessons from this experience. But here's what this means for women's basketball's future. As media attention escalates, greater scrutiny creates more pressure. More pressure generates more friction. More friction produces more situations like this, where talented players struggle with professional sports non-basketball dimensions. Lexi Hull is getting demolished online for one diplomatic conversation. Angel Reese's former teammates anonymously celebrate her trade. The moderate position is vanishing. The Chicago Sky situation transcends just Angel Reese. It concerns what happens when social media presence, fan base intensity, media coverage, and locker room chemistry converge. It concerns the distance between public perception and internal truth. It concerns how organizations manage players who deliver both talent and complications. And based on that anonymous source's declaration, Chicago determined complications exceeded talent. So the question becomes, what happens next in Atlanta? Does Angel modify her approach? Does she address whatever generated the Chicago friction? Does she develop stronger teammate relationships? Or does this pattern repeat itself in 2 years, when another anonymous source informs reporters how relieved everyone feels that she moved on again? Because currently, Angel Reese stands at a crossroads. She possesses undeniable ability, massive following, and apparently substantial interpersonal challenges that created enough problems for an entire organization to feel relief at her departure. Atlanta is her second opportunity. But second opportunities only matter if you learn from the initial situation. And based on how she's publicly celebrating this trade while her former teammates anonymously criticize her to reporters, it's unclear that reflection is occurring yet. What's your assessment? Is this a Chicago Sky issue, an Angel Reese issue, or a combination of both? Share your perspective in the comments, and ensure you're subscribed because this story is nowhere near finished. When Angel returns to Chicago facing her former team, that game will reveal plenty about whether these bridges can ever be repaired or if they're permanently destroyed.